Soul Land Episode 192 Original Novel DouLuo DaLu. Chapter 225. Overcome, See God's Light. TL by Piggy Bottle. Half a year later, at the foot of the Sea God Mountain, the Shrek 7 devils were standing in a neat row, silently watching the white figure climbing up the Sea God's steps with great difficulty. Today was the last day of the time they had to finish the Sea God's first test. Without leaving any leeway, they only had one chance to clear it now. Regardless of whether it was Tang San or his companions, none of them dared to say with certainty that they would be able to clear this test. As such, they had decided to do this last-ditch attempt to break through. Only with no other way back would they be able to maximize their true potential. A year had passed and the Shrek 7 devils' appearances had all changed greatly. In each of their eyes was a newfound determination which they did not have before. Facing such pressure and constantly cultivating until now resulted in their body and spirit power greatly improving. In this month, Daimyo Bai too went through the qualitative transformation. With the help of the God-bestowed spirit ring, he too had broken through the 70th rank bottleneck and reached the same spirit sage level as Tang San. The others too each had different levels of improvement. The current spirit ranks of the Shrek 7 devils were as such. Evil-Eyed White Tiger Daimyo Bai, rank 71 Power Attack System Spirit Sage. Big Sausage Uncle Oscar, rank 68 Auxiliary Food System Spirit Emperor. Thousand Hand Azura Tang San, rank 76 Control System Spirit Sage. Evil Fire Phoenix Ma Hung Jun, rank 68 Power Attack System Spirit Emperor. Soft Bones Demon Rabbit Xiao Wu, unknown spirit rank. Physical resistance greatly improved. 7 Treasures Glazed Tile Ning Rong Rong, rank 69 Auxiliary Support System Spirit Emperor. Hell Civet Zhu Zuking, rank 69 Agility Attack System Spirit Emperor. A year of bitter training in the Sea God's Light resulted in each of them growing greatly and their spirit powers improving by at least 7 ranks. Their level of training here was something that was practically impossible to obtain. At the same time, they had put forth huge amounts of effort this year, practically training without rest. Even so, they still did not manage to reach their goal of their training. Other than Tang San and Daimyo Bai, the rest of them still had not managed to break through the 70th rank to achieve that qualitative change in spirit power. However, even so they believed that they definitely had the capability to complete this first test. Currently, the person standing on the steps was precisely Bai Chen Xiang. Before the Shrek 7 devils officially started taking the first test, Bai Chen Xiang was testing the extent of her progress. Although she had long since reached the 50th rank of spirit power, she had not had the opportunity to absorb a spirit ring to progress further. But over these days of bitter training, Bai Chen Xiang's body's resistance had also greatly improved. Tang San believed that once she obtained her 5th spirit ring, her spirit power would definitely leap ahead. As for what rank it would reach, Tang San was unable to guess. But Tang San was certain that over the past year, Bai Chen Xiang's silent effort was definitely not less than the 7 of them. Or perhaps under the influence of the Shrek 7 devils, Bai Chen Xiang had a new understanding towards cultivation. She was no longer the princess of the Speed clan. Fatty, what level do you think Xiang will reach? Oscar tapped the Ma Hung-jun who was completely engrossed in watching Bai Chen Xiang standing beside him. Ma Hung-jun shook his head saying, I don't know, I too have not seen her go all out while climbing those steps. However, I am certain the results of this 1 year's training was not little. Not only in terms of physical and spirit power, the training of her heart is more important. This 1 year of training in the Sea God's Light, regardless of whether it's her or us, our attitude towards adversity is definitely different from before. Without fear, without backing down, we will only go to conquer it. Hearing Fatty's words, Oscar felt as if it was his first time meeting him. He stared at him shocked. I never imagined. Fatty, when did your words start becoming so philosophical? Ma Hung-jun's eyes did not leave the climbing Bai Chen Xiang, he only snorted, don't worship brother. Brother is but a legend. Legend your face, Xiang seems to be reaching a bottleneck. Indeed, Bai Chen Xiang was currently standing on the 57th step, this was a level that she had never previously reached. Her climb had been without any help and was by completely her own power. Her body trembling as she advanced, each step seeming to be extremely difficult. But the current Bai Chen Xiang did not have any intention of giving up, gritting her teeth with her body slanted forward, she circulated her spirit power, folding back the wings that appeared after releasing her spirit, reducing the resistance she faced as much as possible, she continued her climb. 58, 59, 60. Advancing these 3 more steps actually took the time required to burn 1 full stick of incense. Surrounding her body was no longer that golden shred of light, it was now a thick mist created by her own perspiration. This was her last chance to advance here. Bai Chenxiang was definitely not going to give up, however her body had already reached its limit. On this 60th step, she lifted her feet time after time, and each time she had to put it down again. No, I must advance, even just 1 step is fine. Bai Chenxiang shouted desperately in her mind. She did not have the perverse talent of the Shrek 7 devils, but during these days she spent with them, her heart was sufficiently affected by them, especially Tang San's unwavering determination while accepting the God-bestowed spirit ring deeply affected her. It allowed her to understand just how important hard work was to become a truly powerful spirit master. From the 60th to the 61st step was just 1 step, but to Bai Chenxiang it was a spiritual breakthrough. Her strength was insufficient, but she was definitely not going to give up. Ma Hongjun, who was watching from below, unknowingly clenched his fists. Xiang, keep it up, you can do it, you definitely can do it. For the 9th time, Bai Chenxiang lifted her right leg, this time she did not put it down, rather moving it forward with great effort. It felt as if there was an insurmountable force holding her back, even advancing by a bit came with tremendous difficulty. A faint red color too started to appear on her white clothes. Under this immense pressure, her sweat glands started to release blood, showing just how much she was overexerting, but it was precisely because of this that her lifted left foot continued to advance forward. Xiang, just give up already. Ma Hongjun could no longer withstand this torment as he fiercely stepped forward and shouted. No! Bai Chenxiang cried out loud. A bloody mist bursting forth from her body the instant before she set foot on the 61st step. Bang! That white figure stained red with blood was shot into the skies. After reaching the 61st step, Bai Chenxiang was no longer able to withstand the sea god's light's immense pressure and was shot out. A phoenix cry filled with sadness cried out in practically the same moment as a golden red figure rushed into the skies. Suddenly catching that broken winged swift, tightly holding her as they descended, without being able to hold back further the 2 tears that rolled down his fat face. For the first time he roared towards the woman that he loved. Stupid, why must you force yourself so? Within Ma Hongjun's warm embrace, Bai Chenxiang's body seemed to go limp, without a shred of strength, but her face still revealed a fine smile. I don't want to fall too far behind you all. You must also work hard. Only managing to say so much, before fainting away in the next instant. At this moment, a light suddenly appeared in the direction of the sea god's temple as a purple glow descended from the skies, until it landed on Bai Chenxiang's forehead. The yellow dot from having originally passed the trials appeared. Illuminated by that purple light, the yellow gradually turned purple. Your determination and your effort is not something that can be considered to be of just the yellow test level. Lord Sea God had made an exception and bestowed upon you the purple level authority. The test clearance level is considered to be of the purple level. Sea God DouLuo DaLu's voice faintly appeared. Although the distance from the foot of the mountain to the sea god's temple was several hundred meters, her voice felt as if it was spoken next to their ears. Bai Chenxiang had managed to obtain the sea god's approval from her determination, in the process of being upgraded to completing the yellow single test to the purple single test. The spirit power from her body had also undergone some change. However, the specific benefits would still only appear after she obtained her next spirit ring. At the same time, by passing the purple single test, while crossing the ring sea she would not be attacked and she would also obtain the authority to ascend the sea god's mountain. Seeing the heart-ached fatty embracing Bai Chenxiang, Tang San, Dai Mu Bai, Oscar, Ning Rong, and Zhu Zoking's gazes all focused in the sky. Tang San slowly raised his clenched right first, looking at his companions, he shouted, "It's our turn now, Oscar you go first, Dai Mu Bai goes second, Zhu Zoking third, Fatty fourth, Ning Rong fifth and I will go last. Let's start." The order Tang San said was also made after deep consideration. Oscar was the first to go because he had to supply the rest of them with recovery sausages. As for the required mirror image sausages, it had been prepared long ago. Since Dai Mu Bai required the least help, while he was advancing, Oscar could take the opportunity to rest before making sausages for the group. Each person's advance required Ning Rong's assistance, as such Ning Rong went second to last, so that after the people before her finished the test, she could wait till she fully recovered before attempting her own test. As for Tang San being the last, it was because his test was the hardest and that he required all his companions' assistance. Ning Rong's 9 treasure glazed tile pagoda had a limited supporting range, as such if she was unable to clear the test she would be unable to support Tang San all the way to the 333rd step. Finally, the other most important reason was that each of the rest of them too required the assistance of his two great domains. Oscar stretched a little before throwing a confident gaze at the group before walking towards the steps. Little Ao, remember, when you are taking another mirror image sausage at the midpoint, make sure to take it early. Don't stop advancing. My domains and Rongrong's 9 treasure glazed tile pagoda's light will accompany you all the way, good luck. Oscar forcefully nodded before taking out a mirror image sausage and eating it. Accompanying the sounds of cracking bones, Oscar's muscles instantly expanded, his gaze suddenly sharpening. What he ate was naturally the mirror image sausages formed from Dai Mubai's fresh blood. As it took effect, he quickly activated Dai Mubai's 3 main support abilities, White Tiger Barrier, White Tiger Vajra Transformation, White Tiger Devil God Transformation. Shrouded by an intense golden glow, Oscar started his ascent. When he took his first step, from the 9 treasure glazed tile pagoda in Ning Rongrong's hand light shot forth, strength, agility, spirit power and defense. These 4 main attribute boosts simultaneously landed on Oscar's body, instantly strengthening the golden glow on his body. Also at the same time, 1 blue and 1 white light extended from below Tang San's feet and enveloped Oscar and himself within it, completing the maximum boosting effect. Oscar only felt that he had entered a sparking blue and white world. Without any pause he started his climb. The evil-eyed White Tiger's 3 great support abilities, Ning Rongrong's 9 treasure glazed tile pagoda's 4-way support in addition to Tang San's 2 post-7th spirit rings dual domains. Under this collection of support skills, Oscar climbed as if he was flying up the steps. For the first 50 steps, he barely expended any effort. Tang San had been following him from the start. The closer he was, the stronger the effects of his domains. In order to give Oscar the best support, he did not hesitate in spending more spirit power to help support his climb. However, to the current Tang San, even climbing all the way to the 108th step was already nothing much to him. After passing the 50th level, Oscar gradually slowed down. His pace became a stable pace, his determination not wavering the slightest as he continued climbing. He knew that, for himself, the true test only started now. 60, 70, 80, the following 3 steps were also unable to have any restraining effects on him. On the 80th, the mirror image sausage's 3-minute duration was more than half over, so Oscar quickly produced his second mirror image sausage and ate it. Here, his climb obviously became more difficult. With each step, his body would slightly tremble. However, his pace was still relatively consistent. Only at the 90th step did Oscar make his first pause. The overwhelming pressure coupled with the messy lights surrounding him caused his sweat to fall like rain. Thankfully the blue-silver domain constantly replenished his body's vitality, while the Death God domain gave him an incomparable confidence, allowing him to continue his climb. The people watching by the foot of the hill all had their fists clenched. They all knew that the final most critical time was approaching. Although there was only 18 steps left, to Oscar these last 18 steps was harder than the previous 90 levels combined. In everyone's hearts they were silently counting Oscar's steps. 91, 92, 93, 94, 95, 96, 97, 98, 99. At the 99th step was Oscar's second time stopping. This time he had stopped for a longer time than before. At the same time he also consumed the 3rd mirror image sausage he prepared, because another 3 minutes had already passed. Stopping at the 99th step was part of the strategy Tang San had prepared for his companions, because upon reaching the 100th step, the pressure would steeply increase. To re-prepare at the 99th step before continuing to advance would help increase their chances. Tang San stood by Oscar's side. To him, under the effects of his 2 great domains, even at this step he did not feel much pressure. Seeing the drenched Oscar, Tang San shot him a questioning look. Oscar did not dare to make a too large reply, afraid that even wasting the slightest bit of spirit power could result in failure. He only blinked towards Tang San, putting forth a confident gaze. Go! Tang San spoke before Oscar made his 100th step. Stepping onto the 100th step, Oscar instantly felt the pressure crash onto him like a landslide, making his firm steps slide slightly backwards. However, he still managed to stabilize himself with some difficulty. But at this moment, Oscar realized, let alone moving onwards, even something simple as raising his feet was something he could not do. The scene that happened on Bai Chenxiang previously similarly started appearing on his body. On the surface of his body, beads of blood gradually started to appear. At this moment, Tang San's eyes suddenly lit up. Oscar felt his body's surroundings suddenly turned blue, following it a dense flow of vitality flowed into his body. At the same time, he saw the 8 spider lances appear behind Tang San's back. A strand of golden light floated over from the 8 spider lances enveloping both Tang San and his body. The instant that golden light covered him, Oscar felt his body lighten. The pressure preventing him from moving instantly reduced by several levels, and the spirit power he was rapidly consuming seemed to become supplemented. This was... Oscar looked towards Tang San with shock. This feeling was something he had previously felt when Tang San entered the Spirit Sage realm and was demonstrating his domain's ability. Only that time he was draining spirit power, whereas now he was actually injecting it. Tang San used the blue-silver domain and the 8 spider lance's ability concurrently to inject his own spirit power into Oscar. Although the volume was not very large, under this scenario, to Oscar it was as timely as a wagon load of charcoal in winter. Furthermore, since Tang San's spirit power was more vast than Oscar, the spirit power Oscar received naturally felt more significant. Finally, Oscar made the advancing step, his body trembling as he moved. With each stop he took, the gold light surrounding him would flicker as spirit power constantly flowed into his body. That pure vitality from the blue-silver domain released via the 8 spider lances was suitable for direct use by any kind of spirit master. 106, 107. Finally reaching the last step, Oscar took a deep breath. At this instant, an indescribable and incomparable belief overwhelmed his entire body, practically nothing was going to stop him from making this one last step. Oscar's eyes shined like the stars as he exerted his full strength to make this last step. 108. Finally Oscar managed to stop onto the 108th step. In an instant, the pressure receded like the tides, a sudden relaxing made him feel as if he was flying. The blue light and the white light and the gold mist instantly disappeared like melting snow. A newfound sense of carefree took over his body. Along with the fanfare from his companions below, in his ears he heard a ding. From the black hexagram on his forehead, a black smoke floated in front of him for a black screen. In an instant, along with a ding, that black screen shattered into pieces before re-entering Oscar's forehead. A feeling of awakening overwhelmed him. Oscar could feel his rapidly diminishing spirit power stir as a surge of power grew within him. A unique voice resounded out deep in his mind. Black 6 tests. The first test, Traversal of the Sea God's Light, passed. Spirit power risen by 1 rank. From 68 to 69, Oscar's spirit power instant jumped by a single rank to the 69th rank. As he was going to voice his thanks to Tang San, he realized that Tang San had already headed back down after withdrawing his domains. He did not see the appearance of the dense layer of sweat on his forehead. After reaching past level 100, having to support Oscar as well required quite some exertion on Tang San's part. According to plan, Oscar immediately sat down to recover. He knew that his companions all still needed his help, and he had to quickly replenish his spirit power. After going down the mountain, Tang San briefly adjusted himself before immediately nodding towards Daimyo Bai. A tiger's roar resounded from the foot of the sea god's mountain. The one with the power of the true evil-eyed tiger Daimyo Bai finally started ascending. Similarly Tang San assisted with his dual domains while Ning Rongrong helped boost the 4 attributes. But Daimyo Bai's appearance while climbing was different from Oscar. Firstly because he could use his 7th spirit ability, the white tiger avatar. His white fur was accompanied by black stripes. The current Daimyo Bai had transformed into an over 5-meter-long giant white tiger. Similar to his original body, this white tiger too had twin pupils. 7 spirit rings floated around his body. Although Daimyo Bai did not obtain a 100,000-year-old spirit ring like Tang San, Daimyo Bai too put in a lot of effort in obtaining this outstanding 7th spirit ring. When releasing the spirit avatar, 3 other lights instantly shined from his body, the 3 great support abilities White Tiger Barrier, White Tiger Vajra Transformation, White Tiger Devil God Transformation simultaneously activating. Including the spirit avatar, these 4 abilities had already increased his physical strength to a horrifying realm. Amongst ranked 71st attack system spirit masters, Daimyo Bai would definitely be considered in the foremost few. The tiger is the king of beasts, although its attacking abilities was not much, but the improvement in physical abilities made up for it, but it was also because of this that Daimyo Bai's physical attacks carried a terrifying amount of power. Even Tang San would definitely not want to fight against him. The white fur under the effects of the supporting abilities transformed into a brilliant gold. The gigantic white tiger avatar was filled with an explosive amount of destructive spirit power. Under the support of Tang San and Ning Rongrong, Daimyo Bai dashed headfirst into the sea god's light, beginning his rapid ascent. His ascending speed was much faster than Oscar. The huge white tiger avatar not only did not stop during the climb, it even seemed to accelerate. In what felt like only a few breaths of time, Daimyo Bai had already reached the 50th step. Until the 90th step he did not show any signs of stopping and just continued his ascent. With the advantage of the spirit avatar, how could Oscar's mimicked power be compared to Daimyo Bai's true power? On the 100th step, Daimyo Bai paused for the first time. This was also the only time he stopped throughout the test. With a deafening tiger's roar, his tiger paws firmly lifted and fell. In one breath, he had completed the last 8 steps. Without having to run into an as dire situation as Oscar. The black light spewed forth from Daimyo Bai's forehead, shining strongly like the time with Oscar. A black light appeared and shattered before once more entering Daimyo Bai's body. A strong golden light exploded from Daimyo Bai's body. The white tiger avatar rose up and while under the golden light's embrace once more reverted to a human shape. A similar single rank increment brought his spirit power to the 72nd rank. The following tests were also smooth sailing, whether it was Zhu Zuqing or Ma Heng-jun, their physical abilities all surpassed Oscar. With the help of his mirror image sausages and his huge recovery sausages, and Tang San and Ning Rongrong's support, the two of them smoothly completed the test. Zhu Zuqing even directly broke through, reaching the 70th rank of spirit power. However, for some unknown reason, this time the sea god DouLuo DaLu did not appear when Zhu Zuqing broke through. Of the 7, 4 had already passed, leaving only Ning Rong, Tang San, and Xiao Wu. The Shrek 7 devils with the harder tests were also precisely these 3 people. Ning Rongrong's body was not Oscar's match. She also did not have any spirit bones. Oscar's mirror image sausages effect on her was also only 70%, whereas when used on himself was 80%. More importantly, she even had to reach all the way up till the 136th step and not just the 108th step. Tang San had experienced the difficulty of going up to the 136th step. Upon reaching the 130th step was another steep increase in pressure. Given Ning Rongrong's current strength, it was something impossible to pass. Ning Rongrong's disadvantage was not limited to the mirror image sausages and her own weaker physical capabilities. The main one was actually the fact that her own 7 treasure glazed tile pagoda spirit was unable to affect itself. In other words, she could not boost her own attributes. Although they had come up with a workaround by letting Oscar eat a mirror image sausage made with Ning Rongrong's blood to boost her, the effect was only 70% of the original. Under these circumstances, let alone 136 steps, even 108 steps was already practically impossible. After preparing for 2 whole hours, Tang San and Ning Rongrong simultaneously opened their eyes. Ning Rongrong looked at Tang San with worry. "Third brother, if we do it like this, the strain on you is too high." "You?" Tang San waved his hand, not wanting her to speak further. "We have already previously discussed this, didn't we? Only after you all passed can I fully focus on passing myself. Moreover, when I am tackling the test I still need your support." Oscar, who had already recovered part of his spirit power, said, Wrong, little San is right, just listen to him. If not you won't have a chance. You see, even I am not jealous." Tang San snappily glared at him saying, "What jealous? I am only treating Wrong like a sister." Ning Rongrong too glared at Oscar. "That's right, next time you try to bully me, I will have third brother beat you up." Oscar looked at the two of them, temporarily at a loss of words. He wouldn't truly get jealous like this. They all understood perfectly well that in Tang San's heart the only lover that would fit was Xiao Wu. "Let's start." Tang San nodded towards Oscar. Oscar instant withdrew his smiling demeanor and produced a mirror image sausage. Ning Rongrong too took one out as they simultaneously ate it. The one that Ning Rongrong consumed was naturally the one with Daimyo Bai's blood in it, while the one Oscar consumed was the one with Ning Rongrong's blood. The 7 treasure glazed tile pagoda appeared in Oscar's hands. His mirror image sausage was unable to create the 9 treasure glazed tile pagoda. Ning Rongrong instantly released Daimyo Bai's 3 support abilities and followed behind Tang San. Half kneeling, Tang San carried Ning Rongrong on his back. A light flashed from his eyes as his 2 domains were released, dashing into the area of the sea god's light. They had already previously discussed, if they wanted Ning Rongrong to clear this test, she would definitely need external assist, and Tang San was undoubtedly the most suitable one. With his help, reaching the 136th step would no longer be an impossibility to Ning Rongrong. Because Ning Rongrong used Oscar's mirror image sausage, she had lost the ability to support Tang San's attributes and could only lie on Tang San's back, borrowing Daimyo Bai's abilities to protect herself. after all her physical state was the weakest amongst them. In order to minimize Tang San's exertion, she had to release her own power to her limit. Tang San's speed of ascent was very fast, his steps not pausing the slightest, reaching the 100th step in practically an instant. At this point, his footsteps stopped. Not for himself, rather for Ning Rongrong. Although Ning Rongrong had not lost her spirit like Xiao Wu, bringing her as he travelled the sea god's light was actually harder than with Xiao Wu. Because Ning Rongrong's actual body was so much weaker than Xiao Wu's actual body. Tang San could already clearly feel that Ning Rongrong who was on his back was already panting with great difficulty, her sweat already drenching his back. But even so, Ning Rongrong had not made any complaints. Although Ning Rongrong did not speak, Tang San could not notice, he knew that even under his dual domains and Oscar mimicking the 7 treasure glazed tile pagoda's boosting effect, Ning Rongrong's body was still unable to bear the huge pressure. This was also after constantly training in the sea god's light and her body had already greatly improved. If not, when the instant Tang San stepped onto the 100th step, would also be the instant Ning Rongrong's body fell apart. Taking a deep breath, the blue glow on Tang San's body strengthened, the strand of gold which previously assisted Oscar once more made its appearance, even more tightly bringing Ning Rongrong's body to his. However, compared to when he was supporting Oscar, Tang San had to sacrifice more to support Ning Rongrong. After all, since she was on his back, he could not release his 8 spider lances. As such, this transferring golden thread was directly released from his blue-silver emperor and his blue-silver domain, increasing the spirit power consumption by several times. If Ning Rongrong was hugged by Tang San, of course this would not be a problem, however that was impossible. Not because she was going to be Oscar's wife, rather because the strength of the sea god light's pressure was the greatest from the front. As a result, Tang San could only choose to sacrifice a little more spirit power to protect her. As the supporting golden thread appeared, Ning Rongrong's breathing has instantly lightened, whereas Tang San had to not only use spirit power to help her negate the oncoming force, he also had to bear his spirit power being absorbed. It should also be known that right now he did not have the support of the 7 treasure glazed tile pagoda, and did not have Dai Mui's supporting spirit abilities. He carried the burden all on himself. It ends here. Likes, subscribes, shares and comments. Free hugses. Byes.